Welcome to Weekend File.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Nigerians.
Every now and then we'll find these young Nigerians coming up with innovations, science and technology prowess. And our question is, we've seen them over time and we'll continue to see them. What's happening at the moment?
Well, thank you very much. I think first of all I must congratulate Nigerians for having younger generations who are coming out with invention and innovations. That tell you the future of the country. So what we need to do is to see how we can harness the efforts of these young, talented Nigerians. How do we do it? And the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology, as part of your background report, there is what we call Presidential Standing Committee on Invention and Innovation. It's a committee that is in the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology. It's chaired by the Permanent Secretary. Every year we give grants to those innovators so that they will be able to add value to what they had done. So when we find that some of those innovations and inventions have potentials to translate into product and services, we have to protect the intellectual property itself, because that is the first stage of commercialization of any research and development effort. It's like you have a land that does not have certificate of occupancy. So it's another way, it is subject or prone to encroachment. So also intellectual assets. What NOTAP does is we assist those innovators and inventors to protect their intellectual assets, because commercialization of this research and development efforts or innovations are private sector affair, and no private sector will put his own or her own money where the intellectual asset is not protected. So what we do is we assist young inventors, innovators, any Nigerian who has come out with something that could help to develop the economy in terms of innovations and inventions. We help him fill the necessary forms, write the necessary claims, take it to the patent registry, pay the patenting fee. We only call them to come and collect their patent certificate. That is a gap we have seen, and we are trying to fill it. So there is also what we call Techno Expo. That Techno Expo is held annually. It gives opportunity for Federal Ministry of Science and Technology to give exposure to this young talented, and so that Nigerians will come and see what they have done, so that they will appreciate. And some of them, maybe the private sector, may show interest to commercialization, to commercialize some of those inventions. But unfortunately, the private sectors are not forthcoming. So in my own opinion, we need to have an institutional framework that is equipped with necessary funding that would move some of those innovations to the next level. There is also another institution in Science and Tech, National Board for Technology Incubation. It's another parastatal in science and technology that provides incubation facilities for some of those innovators and researchers, so that they incubate their innovations to a certain limit, maybe after 3-4 years. When they feel they are comfortable enough to leave the incubation site, they leave it. And those and we have incubation sites in all the states of the Federation.
All right, a lot of people will want to ask this question. The youngsters themselves, what about the raw materials that they use in fabricating some of these prototypes, these innovations? Are they readily available?
Yeah, since we've been able to have access, you see, some of the components might be imported. You see, innovations, you are not reinventing the wheel, but you are leveraging on what other people have done to get one product or the other, so that it will suit your own interest. So the resources, whether the raw materials are 100% available or not, that, in my own opinion, is a secondary issue. What is most important is the ability of these young Nigerians to make innovations, to make inventions that will substitute imported services and products. That is key. So where the raw materials doesn't exist, we can still leverage and go outside and import those raw materials. But we make deliberate efforts to see that we are able to source some of those raw materials locally.
I asked this question because the people involved neither, they don't have the money to do what they do, but they keep doing these things. So that's why I'm asking if NOTAP has a way of assisting them in terms of raw materials.
Yeah, it's not about raw materials, Kenny. You see, as I said earlier, we have a presidential standing committee on invention and innovation. In one of their background reports, there was some secondary school girls that went to see the Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, and then directed that 5 billion should be given to them. That is another way of motivating them to do that. So where the raw materials doesn't exist, you understand, there is no state in this country that does not have a comparative advantage in one raw materials or the other. What we need is to have a vibrant research and development, so that what we have, we can refine them using our own technology, so that the raw materials will be very readily available. Raw Material Research and Development Council, another facility under Federal Ministry of Science and Technology, had done a lot in terms of raw materials. There is no any raw materials that exist in this country that Raw Material Research and Development Council has not documented. So they are into partnership with the researchers to see how they add value to some of those raw materials, so that they are ready and easily used by the industries. So we are blessed, I'm telling you. We have both human and natural resources in this country. What we all need to do is to try to see how we harness those for the economic development of our system. We must also add here that so many products have come out from Nigerians, and those products can provide you all the services you need. But unfortunately, I stress, we have a very high taste for foreign goods and services. And I think that is where a policy would come to assist, in terms of giving a very high tariff for anything that is coming into the country imported.
All right. Of course, DG, you're aware that the Nigerian Television Authority, of course, every year holds an expo innovation for, these youngsters right here in Abuja every year. Yeah. We've done that for donkey years now. Yeah. I don't know, what the synergy NOTAP have or has with the NTA and other stakeholders, in this regard?
Well, actually, every year, whenever this expo is holding, we send staff from raw material, from NOTAP, to come and see some of those innovations that are maybe have the potential to be patented. So it's not every innovation that can be patented. When we are able to discover some of them can be patented, we take the details of those and we advise them. They go to our website, they fill the necessary forms. Where they cannot, our staff are there to assist and guide them in writing the necessary forms. Where they cannot write the claims, we assist them to write the claims. We take it to the patent registry. We only call them to come and collect their patent certificates. In 2019, 65% of the patent certificates issued by the patent registry came through NOTAP. So it's a gap we have seen, and we are seriously filling in this gap.
Somebody somewhere will be watching and asking about the website you're talking about. Yeah. Can you remind us?
www.notap.gov.ng.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We're discussing the role of innovations by young Nigerians in technological development. Welcome back to Weekend File. The world today is more technology driven. With this development, some Nigerian youths are making impact in technological development with various and promotion NOTAP. All right, let's talk about some of the major challenges. You did say something about the private sector not showing enough or sufficient interest. Now, that also harbors on lack of patriotism and the rest of them. How do we look at that?
You see, most of those innovations and inventions are coming from young people who have no access to funding. And they don't have the wherewithal to translate them into product and service. They have done their own bit. And the private sectors, based on our own assessment of what is happening in these nations, I think greater part of them, they want fast money. And if you compare it to advanced countries, where the industries and the innovators and academia are working very closely. Why is it? Because the industries belong to them. The researchers they are indigenous, you understand. But if you take a census of big industries in this country, more than 90% of them are foreign based. So to be honest to you, that is my own opinion. They are not here to develop our country, they are here to make money and go back. So it is for us as a nation to be strategic. In some countries, any foreign direct investment coming into the country, there are conditions set down. Nigerians must participate, but we have seen companies where they are owned 100% by foreigners. So where we feel we can come into this at this point in time is yes, we have to encourage foreign direct investment, but we should not open our doors so wide. There must be some strategic clauses which we must have to impose. If you are coming into the country, certain percentage of your shares must be by Nigerians, and you have to commit certain amount of your profit before tax into research and development, because almost 100% of those multinationals carry their research and development outside the country, while we have competent Nigerians, professors, who would be able to handle one aspect of the research or the other. That is where, when we saw that gap, NOTAP now came up with a partnership with the industries. And one of those partnerships with the industry is let them commit some certain percentage of their research and development in terms of developing capacities of Nigerians, in terms of sponsoring them at master's to PhD level, undertaking research and development that are relevant to those industries. I'm happy we have started in 2016 with only 5 candidates and 5 industries sponsoring those candidates. After the first segment, we had additional 10 companies sponsoring additional 10 Nigerians from master's to PhD level. These are the critical level of manpower we need to develop if we want to develop as a nation. Now, recently, additional 5 we got. I'm happy to say the first segment, first batch of those beneficiaries, 2 of them have graduated. One has been sponsored by Nestle Nigeria Limited. She's from University of Nigeria, Nsukka. She came up with an excellent formulation as an alternative winning feed. And Nestle may probably think of establishing a production line for that. Now we are bringing the academia. So we need to have a policy that would encourage the multinationals in particular to come and assist in developing the capacities and providing some of those facilities for researchers to be able to undertake. Then the other project is, yes, even if you develop the capacities, if you go to laboratories, some of the equipments are weak, are obsolete. We feel a part of their corporate social responsibility. Let them also contribute towards upgrading some of those laboratories. So far, PZ Nigeria Limited, PZ Cousins, is the first industry that has come in. It has, in the initial stage, upgraded 3 laboratories. One in University of Modibo Alaba University in Yola, the other one University of Calabar National Research Institute for Chemical Technology. Now, the encouragement of this, now they have further committed the sum of 360 million to upgrade additional 6 laboratories. So now they are trying to establish a partnership between those industries they have commissioned and their research and development team. So that is, you need to have a synergy between the industry and the academia so that we begin to see our research and development translated into product and services.
We'd like to thank you for speaking to us on Weekend File tonight.
Thank you very much, Kenny.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Of course, we'll be speaking with Dr. Danazumi Mohammed Ibrahim, Director General, National Office for Technology Acquisition, NTA, in the fight against rape and